What are we? Some kind of League of Legends?
Hi everyone, Sharik Renegade here. Been a minute. If you're not used to it, I don't know what to tell you. Today we're going back to an amazing show that I covered 3 years ago, Arcane, and its very contentious second season. Now, I must say, this video is a redraft. Initially, I was going to go deeper into why season 2 had a lot more head turning and nose scrunching than season 1. Two problems with that video. Number one, I took too fucking long, and number two, I wrote too fucking much. You know, as I'm saying that, those two things are probably the same reason. There are a lot of writing problems with Arcane Season 2, with the broadest ones being a shift from a character focus to a plot focus, the plot being split into 3 storylines, with the main and best one being basically shafted after Act 1 of Season 2. The other 2 storylines have very shoddy build-up, and all 3 have very shoddy payoff. And the best aspect of Arcane, the character work, gets sabotaged by character arcs being badly flipped on their head, characters losing their agency and being yanked by the plot, or characters being turned into plot devices, or being created as one. This all culminates into a finale that didn't hit as hard as I thought it would. I can't remember who said it, but someone said that the more you look into season 1, the better it gets, and the more you look into season 2, the worse it gets. And I don't think there's a more apt description. The weird part about all this is the second season is great. I knew there were problems with the season on first watch, but I also couldn't put my gripes into words. I was able to write down my thoughts after I finished the whole season, but as I went to rewatch to back up my claims, I came to the conclusion that I love the hell out of this. Even after all the botched character work and the bad implications and the retconning and the wasted time, I still love this. And that pisses me off, because if season 2 was handled with the same tact and grace as season 1, it would have created a season of television so peak I wouldn't want to watch anything else. But instead, the show got the closest that it's ever been to being a glorified League of Legends ad. And nice try, Riot, I'm still not gonna play your dog shit game. Or the other one, fuck Valorant. Arcane's fascinating because I know I wasn't the only person back in 2021 who saw this show featured on its release and expected an overproduced, overly bombastic game adaptation. And it is overproduced. I mean, $250 million for a 2-season TV show is a lot of money, but it shattered and subverted every expectation I had. The first season wasn't just amazing for a game adaptation. It stood up with the best shows the medium of animation had to offer. So is it wrong for us to have such lofty expectations after the second season? Maybe, but season 2 is a mixed bag, not because the audience expected too much, but because the writers wanted to do too much. A common defense I hear for the breakneck pacing and lack of organization of season 2 is that it needed more episodes. No, it didn't. The writers needed to trim the fucking fat or stick to one focus, because as much as I could say that the Black Rose plot is a waste of time and technically came out of buttfuck nowhere, the main question I will always ask is, why did the writers decide to deviate from the Piltover and Zaun conflict? A thematic through line still teeming with limitless potential, and y'all decide to truncate it to one act and then go do something worse. The story about class struggle was unique and interesting, but let's pivot to a generic good versus evil plot and fight the fucking Super Shredder at the end. This season reeks of overambition. I know the writers wanted to do a lot, but we just didn't have time for all this shit. If Arcane was always planned to be 2 seasons, the final season shouldn't have been this jumbled. I feel like the writers crippled their own show because of this. Because of the lack of focus and wanting to do too much, crucial moments lose weight, characters lose agency, the plot is more convenient than consequential, and narrative decisions can have bad implications because they weren't thought through much.
I am the dirt under your nails, Cupcake. Nothing's gonna clean me out.
This line fucking sucks. Anyway, to all the people who believe that Arcane should be the standard for future game adaptations, be prepared to be disappointed. Seriously, Arcane should not be the standard. Even with this divisive final season, the standard would be way too high. Speaking of the final season, for as much vitriol as I have with it, it's still better than most shows. It's incredibly entertaining and compelling, and the show looks and sounds arguably better than it did in its first season. Most of the characters may be worse in the second season, but at least the main ones are still interesting. I can't say much about the side characters, they all kinda sucked, except for Lest, my beloved. And like most people with a pulse, I like the alternate universe episode. I think it's one of the best episodes of the show. It's a testament to how good this show is, where its ugliest moments are other shows' prettiest. But compared to its unprecedented first season, Arcane season 2 is pretty weird. I'd still rate it an 8 out of 10, but the strongest feelings the season gave me was how apparent that 2-point downgrade from the first season was, and how much I'm longing for what could have been.